Hi, Karate Illuminati, this is Noah, and today I'm going to address something I was requested to post and kind of go into why I don't. And that would be Yakusoku Kumite. For those who don't know what Yakusoku Kumite is, that literally translates to promise sparring, which is just another term that's used by some styles instead of Ippon Kumite, Sanbon Kumite, Gohon Kumite, the step sparring drills, which are just really sterile, prearranged karate versus karate, very, child application level drills. And a lot of styles practice those. I personally think that while the concept isn't necessarily bad, the actual drills that the vast majority of karate practitioners do in this style are really not worth much. And the style that I came up through as my primary art had originally 7, and then the founder of that system passed away, his son took over, and he introduced 7 more, and then 7 more, and then 7 more. So there were a very large number of these Yakusoku Kumite drills, which they're the typical, prearranged, super basic drills that you would expect from any other modern karate system. For what it's worth, they did end in techniques that had good applicable value, but they were usually gotten to in very sterile and unrealistic ways because they were fit into this mold of Yakusoku Kumite. So my sensei didn't like them. We hardly ever practiced them. They were a curriculum requirement because the system that the organization required everyone to know included them. But more often than not, we were actually going to be working direct kata application and pressure testing that and working on refining it. The Yakusoku Kumite drills were, there's a seminar coming up or there's a belt test coming up and we need to brush up on these. And okay, it's forearm conditioning. At least it's got that going for it. And the techniques at the end are decent. We just need to know that you practice those in more realistic drills. They're not that helpful to you in a drill like Yakusoku Kumite. So I dropped them completely from my curriculum and my personal practice. So you're never going to see me post formal Yakusoku Kumite drills. I'll absolutely post the basic introductory drills that I use for kata application, fighting techniques of various kinds, which tend to follow the general idea of Yakusoku Kumite or Ippon Kumite drills, where there's a predetermined attack that comes in and there's a predetermined response, right? That's how you initially teach any fighting technique. But it can't stay that way, right? You have to evolve past that. And if you're stuck drilling drills that are just unrealistic over and over and over again, a lot of the time you'll find people trying to justify that. And so the more often than not, the answer that I get as to why you should practice them is, well, it teaches distancing, it teaches timing, it gets you used to punches coming at you, but it really doesn't. If you think about the way those types of drills are structured, the distance that it's training you for is too long because they almost always start with the attacker stepping back first and setting up in some way to step in and attack you. And usually you step back in response, which means you're too far away the whole time. So the distancing you're learning is wrong. If the distancing you're learning is wrong, that means the timing is wrong because you're trying to time something based on how long it takes to cover distance, right? And then, yeah, there are punches coming at you and kicks coming at you, but again, if you're out of range already, there's less incentive to learn how to deal with it effectively. And that's where you get into these drills kind of reinforcing bad habits, essentially. So, at the risk of being considered a karate heretic, the Yakusoku Kumite drills from my core system, I dropped the moment I left the organization. And I think that anybody who has the chance to drop those kind of drills should. I don't see any value in them whatsoever, beyond There's some forearm conditioning in there from bashing your arms against your partners, but there are already forearm conditioning drills you can do specifically for that, that you can build off of in a more realistic way.